So how will corporate India meet up to the jobs challenge in a way? Joining me now is Dr. Kiran Mazumdar Shaw, founder, chairperson of Biocon from Bengaluru. Appreciate your joining us, Dr. Shaw. With an attempt being made to get the private sector to, in a way, encourage them to have young interns, incentivize jobs. Do you really see the government's efforts, this employment initiative that it is triggering off? Will it be bought, this internship program, by private sector? Or would you be very cautious to see all the details, the terms and conditions before corporate India takes any step in this direction?
Well, you know, Rajdeep, yes, the underlying thematic is about job creation and employability, because I think that's a real concern that the country has at the moment. Mm-hmm. And I think, you know, the internship model and the apprenticeship model has always worked in most countries, and why not in India? Mm-hmm. So I think, you know, the government's approach is correct, because it does basically skill people for, you know, in terms of employability and jobs for the future. Now, I think, you know, CSR is being advocated for providing internships to these young people. And of course, the government is also supporting this scheme through stipends. So let's see what this whole thing is about. But as you say, it's about really the fine print and understanding how this model is going to work. But I do believe that this is the right approach to employability and job creation. So I, for one, am fully supportive of this measure.
Yeah, you use the word, Kiran Mazumdar Shaw, on more than one occasion just now, employability. Is that part of the real challenge? Not just to try and find jobs, but to create the necessary skills to have then people who can actually be employable. Without upgradation of skills, surely none of these schemes are going to work on the ground. So that is the other big challenge.
Well, you know, Rajdeep, this whole purpose of having internships is about skilling. Mm-hmm. You know, it's about skill development. So the government's approach is create jobs through skilling and skill development. Mm-hmm. And, you know, the most effective way of skill development is obviously internships in large companies. And, you know, they're already talking about, you know, providing the stipend support from the government at 6,000 rupees per month. It remains to be seen how long do they want these internships for. Mm-hmm. So I think that is going to really be, you know, the kind of the underlying success factor, if you were to call it that, for making sure that this works. Now, I know for a fact that, you know, in our own company, we have the Biocon Academy as a finishing school. And that's where we train people to be employable and future ready for jobs. And it's working very well. But of course, we are doing it through our CSR model. And this, I think, is going beyond that, because you do need hands-on training. It's not about just online education or, you know, theoretical training. You need online training. And that's why internships become quite important.
You know, in a way, Dr. Shaw, employment is the biggest challenge of our time, not just in India, but across the world. And the other fear, of course, is that all of this comes at a time when AI, automated AI is out there, and thereby the fear is, will millions of jobs actually be created or will they be lost? Given this environment, how hopeful are you that private sector will embrace again the jobs challenge that is being put before you in a way?
You know, we are talking about jobs in various sectors. I mean, we are talking about service level jobs, we are talking about manufacturing jobs, we are talking about many, many kinds of jobs. Mm-hmm. I think manufacturing is the order of the day, because India does want to become a manufacturing hub for the world. And I think here there are lots of opportunities, but skilling is really the need of the hour. Mm-hmm. So I think it's not about AI all the time, Rajdeep, because we just keep talking about AI in a very loose way. Mm-hmm. I think it really is about how do we skill these people for the kind of jobs we are trying to create. Mm-hmm. You know, we've got, for example, Foxconn and others coming to India to basically shift their business out of China. Now, how do you skill these people to just do those kind of jobs? So I think internships are going to be very important to train people in terms of what is required for these kind of large opportunities.
One final question. One of the big challenges that this government has faced, and one of the criticisms has been, it hasn't done enough to spur private sector investment, or private sector has not walked the talk, especially post-COVID. Do you sense the wheel now turning? An Access Research report recently seems to suggest private investment picking up. Do you see that trend picking up and investment and a virtuous cycle of demand consumption starting off?
So I think, Rajdeep, we are looking at a global phenomenon where there is a perceptible shift of jobs moving out of China, and obviously India is one of the recipient countries, not the only. And I think a lot is going to depend on the availability of skills. So I think that's why the government is trying to focus to see whether we can get a large part of those manufacturing opportunities. So I think private sector has its own advantage if you train people and get government support for doing that. I mean, it's like basically subsidizing training from the government, and that's something which all governments do. So internships are a way of quickly kind of training a large number of people to make sure that you're ready to take on those manufacturing opportunities. I mean, that's the way I look at it. It's not as simple as I seem to make it sound, but that's the model that we need to develop and pursue and build.
Finally, Dr. Shaw, what pleased you most about Nirmala Sitharaman's 7th budget, and what for you has been the biggest disappointment, if I may ask?
So, I would say by and large, the budget has been fairly good in the sense that they have focused on some of the key issues that India is facing. They've obviously, from our point of view, research and innovation is something that has really excited me, because for once the government has seriously focused on research and innovation, starting from agriculture to industrial research in the private sector. Of course, we need to see the details. What is the allocation of this 1 lakh crores that they're talking about in research and innovation sector-wise? So I want to know how much is the pharmaceutical sector going to get in terms of that budget allocation? And how are they going to do it? Is it going to be in the form of grants? Is it going to be in the form of tax deductions or tax incentives? I mean, we need to read the fine print of how that incentives or the budgetary outlay is going to be in research and innovation. So I'm excited about the fact that the government is investing in research and innovation, because I've always believed that that's what the government needs to do to pursue non-linear growth. And this is something that they need to build on in the budgets ahead. So it's a good start. Secondly, I think, they've announced, some customs duty exemption for 3 cancer drugs. I mean, that's a start, but I really think they ought to drop GST for all cancer drugs, because these are life-saving medications which are expensive, and you need to make drugs more affordable. So that was one thing I was hoping for, but let's see.
Okay.
And ultimately, I think also the startup economy is celebrating the abolition of the angel tax. So let's see if you get more investment in the startup ecosystem. Because again, I believe very strongly in entrepreneurship as one of the ways of, creating employment. So, I know that in my own case, I was a job seeker, and then I became a job creator. So I always believe that entrepreneurs really build these kind of economies in a very different way.
Kiran Mazumdar Shaw, for speaking to me on what we believe is one of the big takeaways of this budget, the job challenge. Thank you so much.